Chapter 3. Changing the basics should be fine, right? Spirits are visible, right? There are countless spirits surrounding you with their power. It's a story from few years ago that I heard from an elf, Fia, that was liked by the spirits of wind. In her situation, she can release wind with strength that could break a castle's wall and can bring tornado at a disastrous level if she's serious. Of course, she would never target a large group, only certain individuals. Her magic is only used against nobles and royalty that wear their greed like a robe or those who stop at nothing to obtain great power. Because of the strength of spirit magic, those who can see spirits conceal that ability in order to remain safe from the rest of the world. Reese, you can see spirits, right? Sirius. WH.Y? Reese. Reese's expression hardened at my word. Her eyes shot wide open and her body was trembling with fright. That reaction, she is aware of it. As expected. Please calm down. No, we will absolutely never speak about this secret. Is that all right with the both of you two? Sirius. Of course. Have a peace of mind, Reese. We swear that we absolutely never speak of this. Amelia. Same with Aniki and Nichan. Me too, even if I die, I won't speak. Royce. She's relieved at those words. From her look, her panic is gone and the tension in her body is loosened. I'm sorry, I lost composure for a bit, but I'm fine now. Haha-sama, mother, always said, absolutely never exposed that I can see spirits. If the secret is leaked, my life will be over, and since I've been informed so many times, I'm afraid. Reese. I'm sorry. I don't know if this is good thing to say about that matter, but it seems pointless to be scared. Sirius. No, after all, because I don't understand if it's all right to cling onto those words if I in the opposite situation. But how did you know that I can see a spirits? Perhaps, Sirius-kun is also a spirit? Reese. That's not it. I think you know my aptitude attribute, Sirius is colorless. I don't know what are the factors to be favored by spirits of 4 attributes. Sirius. AAA, I'm sorry, Reese. As a result of having friends, she felt delighted. She apologized about my attribute and her expression is softened quickly. Reese, you don't have to apologize. However, to answer your question, I have seen a spirit in the past. No, I had met a person who was favored by wind spirits. I felt uncomfortable feeling from that person. I found out it was probably a spirit, and since I felt that from you too, I sort of figured it out from that. Sirius. You had met a person like me. Reese. However, the person who was traveling was an adult, and she also was hiding that she could see spirits. Sirius. Things that Haha-sama said wasn't wrong, huh? Reese. But, Sirius-sama. I understand the importance of the story, but what's the correlation between one who can see spirits and Reese, Flame, Amelia? There is a big correlation. The gathered spirits were awfully jealous of person. Sirius. Jealous. Spirits are said to be a great existence, why would it feel such a thing? Amelia. Unfortunately, it seems that way. It's because I don't understand why it would bring harm to the favored person. Sirius. According to Fia, she was fully motivated when using wind, but when she tried to use earth, assistance wasn't given. Maybe she couldn't use it at all. Sirius. I understand why the spirits would be jealous. Because the fire is put out and water is amplified, Reese here is favored by water spirits, which would make the fire spirits jealous. Reese can see spirit and can hear the voice, I think. When water and fire are used, it's fine to recall the spirit. Sirius. Certainly, when using water, I become happy, but when I use flame, the feeling doesn't even come close. Reese. Maybe you didn't understand it since you were too focused, but the feeling of uneasiness came from concentrating at your hand just before invoking flame. Probably, because the amount of attention you were giving flame the water spirits became jealous and started putting out the fire. Serious. Such a thing, the water spirit is always drifting happily, it is a good child that comes from time to talk. Such a thing was being done. Reese. Reese was noticeably sad because she felt that her spirits have betrayed her expectations. However, I want you to think. It appears that the reason is not that spirits are moody, but it is because getting jealous is their natural habit. Spirits are not beings that a person can change easily. It can't be helped since it is a spirit. If in the case you want to use it, by all means, let them know. Since just once is good, why don't you try to ask them not to disturb you? Serious. This is also the actual experience I had heard from Fia. If she requested desperately, she seems barely able to use earth. I'll try. Please, just a bit is all right. I want you to let me use fire. Reese. She closes her eyes and asks a spirit desperately, then, flame, is invoked. It was a small flame that emerged from her open hand, but it was a fireball for certain. The shape is distorted, but that's definitely flame. Serious. Congratulations, Reese. Amelia. It did it, I've done it. Reese. As soon as Reese raises her voice out of joy, the fire was put out immediately. Good grief, I don't understand how much is necessary to please a spirit, but it would certainly be quite a challenge. AAA, already, it can't be helped, Seirei-san, spirit. Reese. That's because of your joy. The feeling triggered the spirit to put out the fire straight away. Serious. Reese is a bit sulky, but since the cause is established, she was grateful and her face was bright. What you did can be settled. Show it off to those guys during a practical lesson next time, Reese Ann. Royce. No, I wonder about that. Serious. Really, I wonder if that Gregory will admit her skill? A small fire magic that can't be maintained won't be recognized, it won't be any different. In that case, which come to mind that she's to be teased again, the status quo doesn't change. This may be rude to Reese, but I feel that Reese's flame is useless. Serious. I understand. For sure, I won't be recognized by this degree. Reese. If that's the case, what are you going to do? Those guys would say such rude things that will make Reese Ann sad again. I don't like it, Royce. Everyone's eyes are turned upon me. Reese really can't enter the iron class with no plan. If I can't deal with her somehow, how about the surroundings? It seems so. Better yet, would you change class to colorless class? Serious. How much connection would be used? I'll have to tell principal through Magna-sensei. The reason is she was bullied and she wants to transfer to our class. And if I tell him I want train to her like Amelia and others, Gakko Cho, headmaster, may enjoy that and allow it. Gregory too won't be interested with the person who can't use flame, and he shouldn't regret releasing Reese. That's good idea, isn't it? We're happy and Reese too can have peace of mind. By all means, let's do that. Amelia. As expected, Aniki. I'll also do anything. Royce. Please wait a minute. There's no way I will be able to change classes so easily. Reese. Reese felt that our plan was impossible and objects to the absurdity. That is, if I suggest one student, I have to propose the subject and it will be natural. Well, there is also some truth in what Reese says. However, I would like to ask you, Reese, do you want to go into our class? Serious. That is, yes. I'd be glad if I can study with everyone. Reese. If that's the case, it's no problem. Since I will move, to tell this to headmaster, immediately from tomorrow, I want you to hold yourself a little bit longer in iron class. Serious. Why would you do this for me? Even if I am a noble, I don't have mother and because I can see Spur. Reese. Since she started saying something impolite, I give a light chop to her head. It won't be painful, but while she holds her head, she looks up here and I tell her with a little serious face. It's irrelevant whether you are a noble or a person who can see spirits. Rhys is our acquaintance and I want to help because you are Amelia's friend. That's all. Sirius. She is not seeing me as a younger brother and she has become Amelia's friend. There were partners for me in previous life, friends who can trust sincerely and truly reliable companion. If she is in trouble, I will help. That is also to Amelia's advantage and there are no problems at all. Above all, to leave such a good girl crying is something that I won't forgive. Thank you, very much. Rhys. I will accept your thanks after this is over. Well, it's about time for supper, should we eat here today? Rhys, won't you eat here too? Sirius. Eh? If we go to dining room now, the meal won't be prepared yet. Rhys. At this moment, there is nothing to eat if you go back. And it's also a celebration for inviting Rhys for the first time. Sirius. It's alright. Sirius Sama's meal is undoubtedly better than the meal from dining room. If you think about the cake that was made, I think there should be some anticipation to his meals. Amelia. Cake, tea that, itadakimasu. Rhys. While Rhys swallows saliva, it's unlikely she nodded for apology. That's right, an honest kid is the best. What about the menu? Do you want to eat anything? Sirius. Anything is fine, but please include some meat. Rhys. For such an occasion, surely we'll have hot pot, Nabe. Let's eat something delicious everyone. Royce. Then, it's Sansai Nabe with meat and vegetables. We have 30 minutes. Sirius. That's more than enough. I'll be going. Royce and Amelia. I'll have to wash vegetables. Amelia. Each of them is moving to their work and Rhys, who hasn't anything to do, is calling Amelia intuitively. Say, Amelia. Although Sirius-kun seems going to cook the meal from a flow of the conversation, but usually you, as a servant, would make it. Rhys. Although I do cook sometimes, Sirius-sama is the one who cooks usually. Since Sirius-sama was also the one who developed that cake. Amelia. Sirius-sama made the cake? As I thought, Sirius-sama is really mother-like. Rhys. I don't have my servants do menial labor like cooking, so for a noble like Rhys, of course it would look weird. It can't be helped. But a noble's house is a noble's house, and my house is mine. Well then, I wonder how much seaweed stock we have left. Amelia. It's just like Amelia said, isn't it? Although this is my first time to eat this, Nabe, it is much more delicious than the meal from dining room. Rhys. There are many more of Sirius-sama's dishes. Because soon, it will evolve beyond just Nabe. Amelia. I don't think it will be that different, but something like bad dishes has never been made even once. Sirius. After finishing meal in Diamond Cottage, we returned to student dormitory. Rhys appeared very pleased with Sirius-sama's Nabe dishes while we were walking contentedly next to each other. Rhys' heart was stolen in the first meeting, as expected of Sirius-sama. When I heard you talk about him, I was wondering whether such wonderful person existed, but I understood after actually meeting him. He's amazing for certain, but he's somewhat a strange person, isn't he? Strange? Is he strange, Rhys-san? Royce. Yes, he's a very strange person. Although I've only been a noble for a short time, from a view of nobles, they don't treat their servant very well. And yet, to say that Sirius is a commoner, you guys are his servants. I somewhat don't dislike that relationship at all, and you make it feel like a family. Rhys. Irina-san too spoke about a similar thing. That person not only didn't act as noble but also received us like a family. Apparently, that's precisely why we want to support that personage and meet his expectations. That person is Arya-sama, who is a mother of Sirius-sama. That's why he's a strange person, I think. Despite of my father is only my family, I haven't see him once after coming to Elysian, and I don't know what to think. That's why, this is a bit imprudence, but I wonder if I'm slightly envious of you guys. Reese. Then, Reese too want to be a servant? Amelia. Reese. Yeah, it is an idea that came out suddenly, but I don't think it's bad. We can be together with Reese, and it is a situation where Sirius Sama too won't think badly about it. It is a matter of time before Reese also fall in love with him. But let me put myself as a candidate for the position of First Lady. Impossible. I am a noble, that's why it's impossible. Reese. You seem to have hesitated there for a moment, did I imagine that? Amelia. No, it's not what you think. Royce, you say something too. Reese. Reese, while getting flustered, asks for Royce's help. But, since Royce gets stuck with certain statements from time to time, he gets spaced out once in a while. It's no good. I still don't understand. Royce. What don't you understand? You don't understand about being a servant? Reese. It's not that. Reese Ann said Aniki is a strange person. Royce. This kid sometimes shows us signs of clinging onto a phrase. Although, this time it's in a good way. No, Aniki is wonderful and very gentle. How should I put it, Reese Ann, anyway, it's fine with being different from other nobles. Aniki is amazing. That's it, Royce. Yes, indeed. Sirius Sama is wonderful, that's it. Royce said a good thing. I'm going to slightly increase tomorrow's snack. That's right, Royce-kun. Sirius-kun is wonderful and gentle person. He can easily tell that I can see spirit, and as for resolving my problems, he suggested that I change classes. Although I think that isn't possible by all means, if it were Sirius-kun, I wonder. Reese. You are also gentle not enough to lose to Sirius Sama. Because it was you, I also had immediately rely on Sirius Sama. That person will surely help you, so believe in that. That's right, it's all right to leave it to Aniki. Royce. I agree with Royce. Have a peace of mind, because at least there won't be any bad things happening anytime soon. Amelia. Both of you, yes. I am waiting in hopes to be able to study together with everyone. I think so too. For the first time, I can go to school with my friend. I want to see laughing more, like now. I'm still worried as I reach the student dormitory. I wonder if Sirius Sama is resting properly now? Has he taken his bath yet? I'm still worried. It's absolute. I should live in the Diamond Cottage, absolutely. I have already carried some luggage there and checked already, but it doesn't produce much results. How about the strategy of bring sake next time and pretending to be drunk so I get to stay overnight? Minors can't drink sake but only once if possible, but Sirius Sama is likely to scold me. Amelia? Hey, are you okay? You got queer suddenly, what happened? Reese. Don't worry, I'm just, worried. It's a habit of mine, Amelia. AAA, please don't worry about it since it's her usual habit. Hey Ne-chan, watch where you're going. Royce. What are you saying? Be steady, Reese. I couldn't shake off the worrying until Reese and I went to bed. Nevertheless, I'm healthy, so I wonder why I'm feeling so anxious. Serious? I see, that's certainly a problem. The next day, I went to school just a little earlier than usual to see Magna-sensei in teacher's room. I thought it would be a problem if Gregory-sensei heard it, but since Magna-sensei holds a higher position, he has his own private room in teacher's room. As one would expect of headmaster's right-hand man, I was saved because I could speak without reserve here. I spoke of the aspect where Reese had bad experience of getting bullied, and if she is invited to colorist class, it's the matter of her talent will be remarkably developed. Since that's the reason, would you pass this talk to headmaster? This is a gift. Since I have two, one is for Magna-sensei please. Serious. I am troubled, is this bribery? Magna. No, this is purely a gift of mine. It is the snack I made and it is popular among my servants, so I thought that I would like to hear opinion from adults. Serious. No matter where it is seen, it still look like bribery but I have no such intention. The contents is yesterday's excess cake but I confirm it by showing the contents just to make sure Magna-sensei. This is my first time seeing such a snack, isn't it? If it's the normal case, I won't accept it, but I'm interested in this. I will accept this. Magna. He took it. If I show the expression inside me, it would have been a evil face unexpectedly. The information about Magna-sensei who is a snack lover was heard from other students seems to be right and after that, I'll just wait until the right time. Let me say again, this is not a bribery but it's a preparation. Come now, eating a cake with liquor added had fascinated various people but it's fine. That's right, I understand that you guys don't need the foundation but please pretend to take the lesson at least. Fortunately, it seems other students haven't noticed yet because it doesn't give a good influence on the surroundings. Magna. I've been found out. I try to go to the dining hall as soon as the lunch break begins. Magna-sensei doesn't appear but the headmaster, Rodwell, appears instead. Of course, he is in disguised form, Vile-sensei. Ah, Sirius-kun. Because there are others here, could you come together with me, Rodwell, Vile? Since I was called, I would like to go immediately, but these two, Royce and Amelia, don't know that Vile-sensei is the headmaster. The reason is to take someone, of lower status, along is not allowed, and the process of asking is different. Sirius-sama, you can't eat lunch with us today? Amelia. Because the talk may take a while, go ahead and eat first. I also want you to check on Risa's condition. Serious. Risa-an is having a practical lesson today, and yesterday she said also the same thing. Royce. Oh well, if she's depressed, let's try to encourage her. Sirius-sama, I'll be leaving now. Amelia. While sending those two off in Vile-sensei direction, he was smiling gently while watching in the direction in which the siblings had left. Encouragement, is it? She got a good acquaintance, doesn't she? Rodwell, Vile. Do you know Reese? Serious. Just a little bit. Leaving that aside, should we have our talk? Please come with me, Rodwell, Vile. I was led by Vile-sensei and went to a hallway where private rooms for teachers were lined up. At the end of this hallways is the headmaster's room and the next is also a private room of Magna-sensei that I went this morning. Since it is lunch break, the figure of students and teachers can be seen here and there, and it's also conspicuous to enter a principal room openly and squarely. How will you go about that? Since it's only a talk, we don't have to go to my room. Let's go to Magna-sensei room. Rodwell, Vile. I was interested in what kind of room is a principal room, but it would be rude to say that. I wonder if the headmaster had been informed in advance. We entered the room that says, Magna, without knocking and Magna-sensei seems to have been waiting for our arrival already. Vile-sensei and I sat down around a table while Magna-sensei prepared tea. I rushed to the main point. Well then, let's hear the story. Apparently, Reese-kun has had various terrible experiences, is that correct? Rodwell, Vile. Yes. I talked with her for the first time yesterday, but her mind is becoming cloudy. I believe immediate action is necessary. Serious. While listening to my story about Risa's condition, Vile-sensei sighed and held his head. Good grief, that man is. What does he think a student is? This is terrible, Rodwell, Vile. He thinks about nothing but his own position, don't you agree? Reese also could not figure out whether to speak to him or not. Serious. I know. But about Reese-kun, can you give me an example? Rodwell, Vile. That is, I refused. Serious. Is that so? It was expected that you can't be thoroughly dumbfounded and say it. Magna. It's a conversation between two people, so it would be harder to understand, but I understand that it would be necessary to explain thoroughly. Ah, I'm sorry. To tell you the truth, your plan of bringing Reese-kun to colorless class, it was brought to Gregory-sensei this morning. Magna. Thank you very much for your quick correspondence. Serious. I worked hard because that candy was very delicious. But, it seems the man refused as it was heard a short while ago. Magna. This is just my opinion, but what charm does she hold for Gregory-sensei? He's saying it's hopeless if she can't use all elementary level, but that girl is incapable of one element, you know? And yet he doesn't want to release her. It's inconsistent, isn't it? Serious. I was thinking about this from the time Reese's story was heard yesterday. If it is to my expectation, I suppose her father is probably a considerable senior nobles of some sort. They seems to know that Gregory is gathering only famous nobles, I guess. How much do you know about her? Rodwell, Vile. I only know she has become a noble recently. But other than that, I'm all good. She is Amelia's friend, I just want to help her because she's our acquaintance. Serious. Vile-sensei and Magna-sensei exchanged look and two of them nodded slowly. I know a certain secret of hers. I think that I should share it because it is a complex problem. Would you like to hear it? Serious. There is no need. Anyway, I imagine I can hear it from her mouth herself, and I am not interested in her household problems. Other than that, do you have any other thoughts? Magna. He passed. I understood Sirius-kun's spirit. I'll grant your plan from us. It is a drawback to that is cumbersome, but it is another one reliable hand. Rodwell, Vile. I'd like an explanation, please. Magna. You see, in recent years, there is a game where a teacher can nominate student in a match game called as Trade, Rodwell, Vile. Trade. From the start, if a teacher has their eyes on a student that was in charge of another teacher, it was suggested that one could bring up the student well would be prioritized. Since there is the case of unevenness comes out in age for teachers and there won't be a match, instead, it will be a match between the students they raised. The one who wins can take the nominated student under his own wing. I see, it's troublesome, but if I win, it's certain that Reese can be pulled into new class. Nevertheless, unless both parties accepts, it will be pointless. If Gregory-sensei doesn't want a student of colorist class, a match can't be done. Rodwell, Vile. Does Gregory-sensei want a talented person from colorist class? Mark-kun is plausible, but if necessary, Mark would have been taken into his class already. Serious. Mark is certainly coming from good household and he's also pretty good at magic. But his character won't fit Gregory. This has already become troublesome, and should I aim for force breakthrough? Rather, how about a one-way trade? It seems he has gotten bribed from a student, and isn't there a lot of dark rumors? Serious. Did you come with threat? That isn't a very good hand, as in a ploy, Magna. No, it's for the discussion, of course. However, the fraud official papers on top of his desk will be omitted. Serious. That is only thing to be omitted? Magna. Yes, that is the only thing. Serious. I stared at Vile-sensei. Before long, we were both made a distorted mouth with a broad grin. Huh, are you really a child? I wonder whether or not Gregory-sensei will listen to my talk. Magna. Please do your best, Magna-sensei. Ah, speaking of that, how was my confection? That's called a cake. Serious. I tried to ask the thoughts of the cake which I handed this morning to Magna-sensei, who seems gloomy. Then he switched that melancholy face until just now, and grabbed my shoulder with a big smile. Ooh, it was more than just an amazing bite. It melts because it's soft to that extent, and it's sweet. That is a cake. No, it's a waste to only think about what you have made. Anyway, that was very wonderful thing. When it's good, could you make for me again? Magna. Yes, eventually. Anyway, do you like cheese, Magna-sensei? Serious. When you say cheese, is that the food that the Galgan company recently began selling? Well, I ate some the other day and it was very delicious. Magna. I think I'll make a cake with cheese this time. It's a rich and bittersweet cake, but do you want to taste it? Serious. Certainly. Please tell me if you need money. I will pay by your asking price. Magna. The price is 10 gold coins. Even if I say so, it seems as though they would pay the price without batting an eyelid. Al thought it was unexpected for him to like it this much. It seems I have lived through my preparation tightly. Since it is sampling food, I don't need money. But if Reese's matter isn't brought to an end, my concentration in making the cake is. Serious. Understood. I'll talk to Gregory-sensei right away. Headmaster, please. Magna. Just leave it to me. This has become interesting. Rodwell, Vile. Even though Magna-sensei was walking, he went out of the room as fast as if he were flying. A moment's glance at his face foretold a scene where he would be knocking with terrible vigor at Gregory's door. Yeah, that vigor might be all right. Well then, should I return and prepare the documents too? By the way, Sirius-kun, trade, is a fight matches between the students. Has it been decided who will fight? Rodwell, Vile. I will, of course. There is a limit of being shameful if the one who initiated this does nothing. Serious. Such confidence? No, for sure. Is there another reason? Don't you need help? Rodwell, Vile. I really don't need it. It's good enough to merely preparing the match. Serious. I thought in order not to stand out, either way, it depends on a method. The question is the match rules, but I think the method will be decided from the rules. Understood. I won't say anything more. Sirius-kun, there is only one thing that I say in the end. Rodwell, Vile. As soon as Vile-sensei moved and changed to serious facial expression, I put myself on guard intuitively at that intensity. He wasn't an enemy, but I was careless. If he now has a mind to kill, maybe I'll be done in. I also want to request that cake which made with cheese. With a size as large as possible. Rodwell, Vile. To say that while including a bloodthirst. Whether or not it's because this world is lacking in sweets, I found out that I can use cake as a drug that can even captivate the person who lived for 400 years. A cake is the strongest. Then, I was handed a piece of paper from Magna-sensei after the end of a lesson. I heard that, trade, with Iron class has been decided and it will be held out. It's sudden event, but there is almost no need to prepare because it's just a match between students and it will be held tomorrow morning. Magna-sensei and Vile-sensei somehow pressed reluctant Gregory by force and intimidation, and they seems to have succeeded in one-sided negotiations which they can have Reese. I won't feel guilt punishing the man who has a habit of doing foolish things. However, it may be because of one-sided demand. Given that the rules are decided by Gregory, I insist on the idea of wanting to be careful. Furthermore, it was also to protect the existence of a cake. We gathered in Diamond Cottage with Reese and I handed over the held paper. A rule of trade is described on the paper put on the desk, while explaining the result Reese and the siblings. It has become serious matter, I'm really sorry. Reese. The one that made it as serious matter was me. You don't have to worry about it. If you can enter the colorist class, that is fine. Serious. Reese, please move according to my flow. It's difficult, and using cake as a buyout, it was arranged to end at 3 stages which are easy direct connection and there are no conditions. Well, there won't be a way to think about past events. Now, I should turn my focus on trade, that is around the corner. Then, the rules Gregory written on paper was as follows. Usable, magic is until intermediate level. Weapon that is made from wood. If a direct attack is not a fatal attack, everything is allowed. The number of people is 2 per side. For victory or defeat, let's say the partner give up and once the referee determines it the match can't be continued, then the victory decision will be concluded. There will be large serving of cheesecake. The added last entry wrote in had been crossed out. I had a little hunch that the last entry was from that man. I thought whether there was a loophole in the rules, but I don't think any particular loophole that would be a problem. Since there are a lot of students with elitist thoughts in iron class, they seems to think something like defeating us would be easy. I hope it will be a great learning experience for them. Serious Sama, since it is written as 2 people in the rule, Royce and I will go out to trade Amelia. It's no use. I said to the teacher that since I proposed this, I've decided I want to do it. I understand your worries, but I absolutely have to go out. Serious. Aniki, if that's the case, the second person will be me. Royce. Royce stands up vigorously, grasps his fist tightly, and is fully motivated. In the case of normal situation, I would push Royce aside and nominate Amelia, but this time I was just looking at the paper without saying anything. I was thinking how to persuade them but they're strangely obedient. Nei-chan, may I go out? Royce. I leave this to you this time. Because you're stronger than me, so it's natural. Amelia. Is that really alright, Amelia? Serious. If I have to be honest about my feelings, I would like to fight together with you. However, this is the important match which will decide Reese's future. If that's the case, I certainly think of Royce goes out as the best choice. Amelia. Amelia, I'm sorry. Even so, thank you. Serious. Reese was overcome with emotion, she clung on Amelia and was shedding tears. Is that so? You gave priority to the situation even though you were constantly clinging to me, and she's pulling out now while thinking of her friend. You have grown, Amelia. I'm fine, don't cry, Reese. Because Serious Sama and Royce always win, I will only believe that and wait. Amelia. Yeah, Serious-kun, Royce-kun, please. Reese. Leave it to us, Serious and Royce. There's nothing else to do with the exception of winning tomorrow. Since several assumptions have been finished already, I will speak with Royce later just to confirm the coordination. I conduct my daily routines, ate dinner together with everyone and the day was finished. The following day. There are numerous facilities in this school, but it is surprising to think that it would even have an arena. Originally, it's a place that's open occasionally for annual events and festivals. If there is an application filed, it also can be used for a match between students. What a loose school regulation. In fact, it is rarely used for anything else other than to fight. Its outward appearance seemed to be the Roman Colosseum seen in my previous life. Stairs-like stone chairs were lined so that a person at the back can see. There is a bare earth spread at the central arena. Royce and I was preparing down there. Aniki, the arena is so big. Are we going to fight here? Royce. Indeed. Even though we will be holding back, it's nice to have so much open space. Serious. The students of colorist class sits down on the back seats for the audience and the students from iron class takes the opposite set. From the way that they are seated, the nobles appear to have double the colorist class size due to them bringing their servants. The most prominent difference between the two classes are their line of sight and attitude. Although our colorist class are cheering purely, but iron class is pointing here with overall insulted look. By the way, this isn't an official event. Since this is unexpected event, other classes are in their class. Serious Sama, good luck. Amelia. I'm going to support you, Serious-kun. Since there are 2 people, I support you. Aniki. Oya Bun, boss. Fight, Royce underling. Commoners are so noisy. Do they think they can win against us who hold excellent lineage? Good grief, there is a limit being filthy, isn't? We want them not to take our time. We want them not to take our time with this. We want them not to take our time with this kind of useless. We want. I was listening to each of the conversations. How dare they? It was just a bunch of foolish nobles being assembled, looking at Ironclass with an amazed look. It's the commodity of trade at their edge, and Reese was looking here with worried expression. Since she's still in Ironclass, she can't support us openly. But she holds her hands to pray, and by reading her lips, I understood that we're being supported. Aniki, Rhys-Ann is looking. Royce. Is that so? She seems to be saying to work hard. Serious. Yeah. Because I'm going to save Rhys-Ann immediately. By the way, when will the opponents come? Royce. Royce said that because there isn't anyone else but us in the arena. We have finished warming up and can begin anytime, but the opponents are not coming. To think and moving incidentally is an irresponsible call, but the referee sensei and the opponent came out. Sorry for being late. There was a little problem. Referee? I think it's normal to make an incompetent and beastkin to wait. Opening parenthesis question mark closing parenthesis. The one who turned up was their homeroom teacher, Gregory Sensei, and Ironclass students as an opponent, in large number. Why, there are 5 people. Well then, since it's wasteful to waste time, let's start the match immediately. Gregory. Wait a moment. I can't give a consent yet. Magna. Gregory tries to begin the match quickly and Magna Sensei, who rarely getting angry, tries to stop it. When Royce and I floats a question mark, Vile Sensei has approached us from different direction. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. To tell the truth, it seems there is a problem with the rules. Rodwell, Vile. There is no problem. The rules were certainly mentioned. Gregory. Where is the rule for this? Aren't you embarrassed as a noble? Magna. Vile Sensei is sighing at those two who are quarreling again, and he hands me a paper. That was the paper with a list of rules that we got on the previous days, but this one is what Gregory had and used it. Look and compare the contents. Rodwell, Vile. While I tried to remember the details I've seen yesterday, but I didn't remember them. The number of people is 2, but that doesn't include the servant. Because it wasn't this until it was compared. No matter how you look at it, that part wasn't written on ours. Common incomplete document, I wonder? Why in the world are you dissatisfied about? Gregory. At this defect? Don't play around. In the first place, having a servant is common, please think about it together you guys. Magna. At any rate, there is no photocopy machine in this world. Since it was made with handwriting, I'm not sure how to break the ice regarding the defect of official documents, but I think this is too much. Anyway, trade has determined and it's too late to overturn it. Before you complain, if this bastard brings out servant, will this discussion over? Gregory. Gregory is enduring laughter, in case we can bring a servant out, and as though he's looking here. This fellow, doesn't he realize I have a servant with me? Nevertheless, 3 people, no, me and the siblings' servants and another person, that will be 4. Still, there is a difference of a person as an opponent. Anyway, I request a redo. If it's not fair, it will be reported to the headmaster. Magna. Say whatever you want and it's fine. Since I was allowed to decide the rules, my say is without no doubt will be apparent. Gregory. Please calm down, Magna Sensei, Gregory Sensei. Rodwell, Vile. While the verbal warfare continues, Vile Sensei interrupts the conversation between those two. Although Magna Sensei is dissatisfied, he goes down, and Gregory is scowling disagreeably. Silent. An ordinary teacher is noisy. Gregory. Since it is unsightly for an ordinary teacher to watch this, stop it. It'll be natural for your opinion to differ from each other, but how about asking him first? Rodwell, vile. While referring to what was being said, Vile-sensei looks back, turning his sight to test me out. As for both of you, is there any problem? The fighter himself is here, so let's listen to Sirius-kun. Do you have any objection to the rules? Rodwell, vile. I don't. Sirius. Sirius-kun. Magna. Magnus-sensei and Gregory all together were surprised at me who told them decisively. But Gregory changed to the disrespectful look immediately. Well then, Royce-kun, how about you? Rodwell, vile. I'm with Aniki. Royce. That is why. The students are also waiting, let's start the game soon. Rodwell, vile. Hoo-hoo, what an idiot. Gregory. A wonder-stricken Magnus-sensei is put, Vile-sensei and Gregory are getting away from us. While Vile-sensei is on the way out, he had whispered an expectation. Sirius-kun, I don't want to admit such method. Even if this is unfair, since there is nothing for the opponent to lose, we must renounce it outright. Rodwell, vile. If I prolong this anymore, Reese's heart will wear down. I'll be fine, these 5 people are not Royce or my enemies. Sirius. As for Aniki and I, we're invincible. Royce. Magnus-sensei breathed out and resigned himself on our answer in full of confidence. He expressed a gentle smile and put a hand on our shoulder. Understood, please fight with care. But if it's judged to be dangerous, the match will be stopped immediately. Magna. We're winning certainly. Sirius. Leave this to us. Royce. Magnus-sensei went away and 5 people of an opposing team were waiting with a weapon in the center of arena. If I look properly, the nobles and his servants who had an interview with me, are mixed in the opposing team. That noble is the one with double attributes of flame and wind is here. This must mean an influential person is to be chosen for a match? While analyzing the opponents, if those guys are looking each other, they are grinning and making unpleasant smile and looking down on us. You should feel honored. You're being able to fight against Alstor Elmoroy who is a double, as in he possesses 2 attributes. Alstor. Ah, yes. Please begin whenever you like. Sirius. You bastard, oi you guys. I'll make them regret for challenging me. Alstor. Please leave it to me. It's easy to finish this incompetent. Shut up. It'll be you guys because I'll make you regret this. Royce. While soothing Royce who was bearing his canine, the countdown for the match began. There's a clear difference in number, the disturbed voice from our class can be heard but there's no need to worry. The fighting power difference is certainly disadvantages on 2 against 5. However, if a case of Royce and I, we have paired with each other how many times? I'll show a battle of combination to these foolish nobles. So from this, trade match between Colorist and Iron is starting. Rodwell, vile. Vile-sensei looks at me and opponents, taking a big breath and raised his hand. Trade, start.